again. This is me, the archivist. Anyway, yeah, I was watching YouTube again, as I normally do before getting up, and I was watching the Razor Fist, and you know, looking about censorships and other things, and alternate channels, and it got me kind of remembering what's been going on in the anime industry, where the anime studios, that are so groundbreaking and, anime is nothing really like, you know, Hollywood. It's nothing like, you know, each individual film industry is fundamentally different than any others. You know, the cartoon industry is different from this and that and all the things. But they all have the same basic kind of rules with standards and practices, as annoying as that is. Because you gotta have the standards and practices to be, you know, the age old thing is the constant conflict between artistry and profit. Okay, that's the main underlying thing buried underneath it all. At the end of the day, thing is like what Mark Hamill said. It's not the company doesn't care if it's good product as long as it's a profitable product. And he can get away with that because he's Mark fucking Hamill, and leave him the fuck alone. Um, More power to you, bro. All right, so uh, what started off this whole thing was that there are two animes that refuse to be, and they're controversial because, you know, and I'll get to them why they're so controversial, but the anime industry treated them like they're lepers. It's like, oh no, back in the woke thing from 2017 and 18, the two shows that were controversial were Rise of the Shield Hero and Goblin Slayer, because they were too real for fantasies. They had too real of a concept. A princess is lying her ass off about being physically assaulted by our lead character, and physical assault is the least likely thing to happen to you in Goblin Slayer or whatever it is. But the thing is that it's about assault. Gasp! My God. It's like, no, they're just showing you that these worlds have stakes, real stakes. This isn't like a video game, or it's the reason why Akibari Ito, removed the logout in SAO, is because he wanted them to take the game deadly seriously. It's the same thing. But everyone doesn't like deadly seriousness in their fantasies. Jesus. But, So, anyway, I bring all that up to bring this up. Now, there have been another pair of controversial animes, and it's really not controversial. It's just standards and practices, where it's like, where is the line? And it's just this side of the line, so we can't use it. I talk about interspecies reviewers. Yes, that whole thing. Again, this is the whole thing of problem of the age-old tale of the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing. Okay, so in branches and companies, they have branches. They have the New York branch, the LA branch, stuff like that. Okay, Funimation had the U.S. branch and it had the Japanese branch, and these people believed they knew what the not the mandate, but the mission statement was for anime. This is what we're looking for. This is the kind of anime we're looking for. So the Japanese branch, if I remember correctly, said, okay, cool. Because it's hard to go back and forth, so it'd just be easier just to outsource and have people stay in Japan on the lookout for new anime to license, bring over, and dub and distribute. So, well, the people over there are saying, okay, we'll get that one, that one, that one, that one. Ooh, this looks nice. And that one. Okay, so in that bunch was interspecies reviewers. They thought, all right, this is, again, a little bit much, but that's kind of what we're about, aren't we? And have you seen Funimation's catalog? This is nothing new here, people. This is just a hair bit different. Why? Because it's actually about sex. That's the actual plot of the episodes of the series. Is it's about sex. It's about it. It's about adventurers, not really adventuring, but going to the brothels and red light districts all throughout the nation, having relations with the women there, then coming back to their bar and writing about it, saying, okay, if you're going to go there, you need to be aware of this. If you're this type of being, you need to do this or that. You know, so he's bringing sexual awareness and education to the masses. But that's a bad thing. Yeah, and they all get upset about that. Yeah, because heaven forbid sexual education. My sexual education in middle school, in elementary, middle school, and high school could just easily have been summed up basically on the Disney Channel. Let me repeat that. The basic sexual education I got in these three institutions and throughout my early life could have easily have been summed up and shown on the Disney Channel. I am not kidding you. Actually, some of the stuff they did show us was actually taken from the Disney Channel. Well, Walt's early work, but yes, back when they had biological educational episodes. Yes, one of them was taken from there. So, yes, look it up for yourself. I am not kidding. Um, but it's all just very stale and straightforward and textbook stuff with some basic diagrams of stuff. It's like, okay, how does that even work? There was this thing about sex, and it's like, how does that even work? The way in the animation described it's like, okay, so we're like flowers now. Does this stuff like float through the air? How does that? What? So you're kind of scratching your head at age 8, like, what? Or what was it, age 10? Sorry, age 10. I'm like, it doesn't make much sense. But yeah, that's the point of interspecies reviewers, is that they actually talk about these things and inform you on various different things. You're like, okay, thank you. So all that happened, right? So when it got to the US, they're like, this is not us. We don't do this. But they already started dubbing it. It was on YouTube for a brief little while. I rather liked it. I thought it was rather interesting. I was looking forward to getting on DVD. Turns out they turned it down and said, no, we're not putting this on our catalog. We're not even subtitling this on our catalog. We're not distributing this at all, as far as I remember. It did pop up some months to almost a year later on gasp, an anime porn site. I'm like, okay, well, if that's the only platform that's going to host this, then fine. So I watched a few episodes and I'm like, this isn't hentai. It's not explicit. Hentai is explicit, right? Interspecies reviewers is not really explicit at all. But because it's about sex, oh well then we just can't show it. Okay, I'll skip ahead about 18 months. Now here it is. Early 2021 to now, late 2021 to early 2022. Sorry, excuse me. um, End of the world harem. Now that comes out, and again, it's about sex. 99% of the world's population, male population, has died. So now, through some fortunate um, uh, um, uh, freezing experiments, some males have jumped about 5 years later and have woken up in a world basically populated by women, and now is expected of them to help repopulate the world. And our leads are, well, one of them is embracing his new role as a stud being put out the stud is not necessarily put out the pasture. It's just you're breeding now. That's all you're good for. Your best days of running the track are behind you. So, one of our 3 leads so far is accepting his new role. The other 2 are actually feeling kind of awkward about this, and not just saying, "Oh, sure, I'll just sleep with this girl because I'm not, or whatever obligation." So, um, the story is compelling enough to watch. Sure, the animation's good enough to watch. The girls are attractive enough to watch. But because it's about sex, nobody's dubbing it. No one's distributing it. So much like interspecies reviewers before it, it's relegated to a porn site, pause for dramatic effect, where there is no sex. Let me repeat that. When I watch these first 3 episodes, there is no sex. It's implied that they have sex. There is some nudity in it, but there is no sex. So again, I ask you, what is so terrible about this anime? Oh, it's because it's the theme, because it's the plot. Oh, we can't do it. We can't do it. Again, I reiterate. Funimation, people, have you seen their catalogs? They have, what was it, like 7 different titles that involve girls with big boobs bouncing around on screen explicitly, might I add. Um, was it Sisterhood of the no, Demon Cult thing? The girl has multiple orgasms in the first episode. Uh, the Love Slave Pact. What was it? Um, Several others. There are dozens others. Freezing. Valkyrie Drive. That's dubbed, by the way. Valkyrie Drive. Valkyrie Drive is dubbed. No one has a problem with Valkyrie Drive. Heaven forbid. Valkyrie Drive has Yuri relations, and yet that gets a dub. No one has a problem with that. There's a Yahweh, I guess it's called. I don't know, Girl Love, but there was several other titles. What was it? The one was it High School? I forget the one with the guy. He dies and gets resurrected by by the club members and Rias Gremory. I forget High School. No. Oh, and also High School of the Dead. That whole thing. It was all a bunch of titles in there about gratuitous anything. They have nothing to do with sex, but they're gratuitous, displays of sexuality in there, and it's like, well, as long as it's not about sex, freaking totes do it. They give characters standing for about 2 minutes on screen, topless. That's not a thing. Oh no, that's fine. As long as they're not having sex, then that's fine. And they're like, boggles my mind because these shows only have the themes about sex. They don't show sex. They talk about them in a frank and plain manner, in a practical sense. What does it mean to pick a mate? Basically, it's all that's about. What is attraction? What is holding yourself to standards? Saying, well, I made a promise to this girl, wherever the hell she is. I'll give myself a month to find her. And if not, then yeah, okay, I'll relegate myself to being the stud for the world, or at least the Japanese branch. But that's the point. Is just because it's about sex doesn't make it taboo or evil or anything obscene. If you want to see obscene, it's anime. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff in there that's obscene. These 2 shows are not one of them. anime fan and seeing this just sees like the hypocrisy of it all, because it comes off as hypocrisy because you're splitting hairs, you know, you're relegating something to the, the taboo side because it's that one bridge step too far for you, even though it doesn't have any sex in it. It's just the theme. It's a theme too far. Is what it is. A theme too far. And it gets silly for these silly times we seem to find ourselves in. But yeah, just want to let you know what the truth is about these shows. They're just educational at best. At the worst, they're just another anime. But that's about it. That's all I have to say. I'm done. I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Okay, I'm gonna go out and buy some more dollar movies again. So, wish me luck, and as always, see you at the movies. Bye.